Test, test. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding. Let me know how we sounding. What's going on, Chanel? Clear, clear. All right, cool. Yeah, decided to go live at 4 today. One, because I looked at the charts before 3 a.m. and the markets weren't looking like anything I really liked. And then two, because we also got news at 8:30 today. Going to be going live with the members later on today during the 8:30 news. So members, make sure to be on the lookout for that Zoom link. But we got a couple sets we're looking at. But before we get to that, y'all, it's finally happened. The win streak, the 3-week win streak. That was almost a tongue twister. Man, if I said that any faster, I would have got tongue tied. But the 3-week win streak has finally ended, y'all. It has finally ended. Yep. So I'm trying to still go live, but that's why I ended the TikTok live. Oh shit! What did I just do? Man, what just happened? The hell just happened? All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. All right. It's like as soon as I was about to talk about the loss, the computer wanted to crash. But it's all good. We're back to business. Let me know if y'all can hear me. We're back to business. We're back to business. Uh, uh, but let me know if y'all can hear me. Then we're gonna pick up where we was just about to pick up at. Let me know if y'all can hear the music too. I'm about to grab my phone. But yeah, like I said, my Wi-Fi has been fucking trash for like the past couple days. I don't know what the fuck's been going on, but it's working now though. So we're gonna get back to business. We're gonna get back to business. We got a couple sites we're looking at, y'all. All right, we're good. All right, cool. What's going on? I see you up in here. All right, so I'm gonna catch you to the chat. I'm gonna pick up where we left off. I spent the day, trading. I need to work on my entries. I'm either too fast or too damn slow. Yeah, it just takes practice and timing. It just takes practice and time. That's one of the things that it really just you just have to practice because again, it's always situational, right? Like every trade, you want to go kind of for the same setup, but every trade is kind of a little different at the same time. So it literally just takes reps, and the more increase you take, the better it's going to be, especially when you're taking those and reviewing your setups, right? Because it's always going to be different. It's always going to be different. And by what I mean by that is, let me pull these charts back up. Am I muting the sound? Okay. Let me add the music. I got you. Why don't you get these charts back up and I'm add the music instead. Let me get these charts back up. Yeah, because my computer is kind of glitching right now. I've had this computer since I became profitable. Like when I got my first payout 3 years ago, I bought this computer. I don't want to say it might be time to get a new one. I think it's the Wi-Fi too, but I have had this thing for like 3 fucking years. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what the hell trading you got going on. All right, so I'm gonna add the music back, yo. I'm gonna add the music back. Just give me one second. I just want to put these charts back up. So let me add this music really quick. Y'all can still hear me. I'm just simply adding the music back to the stream. So give me one second. Let me see if this will work. Let's see. Share screen. Allow screen audio. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear the music now. I'm about to grab my phone too. Let me know if you can hear the music now. Yeah, no technical difficulties about to make me miss this setup right here. Let me know if the music's back, yo. I was already playing. Oh, okay. All right. So like we was talking about, so the win streak finally ended, y'all. We took a GN setup. So we talked about this a little bit during the TikTok live, but like I said, my wife was looking out. So we took this GN setup yesterday. We talked about this during the live stream as well. Right, because if y'all was in yesterday's live stream, we talked about a few setups. We talked about this NAS100 setup, that one that's projected. Again, it didn't perfectly go as projected, but it still did the move I was looking for. And then we talked about gold buys here. So you see, while I was talking about, I want to wait to see if we can break above 33.50 and hold that as support. Because we see yesterday, it did the move here, but then it rejected. And then you see here, it's still trying to reattempt to break back above this level. So with gold, we are still technically bullish, but we got two levels we need to break back above for the uptrend to continue. Like we have to break back above 33.74, hold that as support for the uptrend to continue. Because like we was talking about today's live, this was happening a lot of the charts, right? So this was gold back when we made the first, well, not the first, but back when we had the all-time highs surpassed, right? Then we see here, this same level here, right? This blue level right here, price failed to hold that support. Then we saw price go back to the same level, but still failed to hold that support. That's because the reversal again. And then we see here, last week, price yet again failed to hold this low as support again, right? So we're also still respecting this level support where the higher lows at. So again, we are still technically bullish, but we need that volume to kick in to make that not only the new higher high, but to be able to hold that level as support. Right, when we go to smaller time frames, you see exactly that. As we went for that buy here, price failed to hold the support, failed to hold this level as support, and then we go back here, and we see here price again really struggling to hold this level here as support. So we need these two levels to be broken and held as support for the uptrend to continue. Now we kind of saw that with NAS100 as well. Right, these were the all-time highs back in the day. Rejected, came back, failed to hold that support, rejected, caused a reversal downtrend. Now we're right back there. Again, it's been very wicky, but we're going to be seeing if this was going to hit those all-time highs again or this month. GJ, same exact thing. Right, same exact thing taking place. All right, with GJ, we had the higher high made here. Price failed to hold these levels of support, rejected. Same resistance level here, failed to be turned into support, rejected. Then all this week and last week, same exact thing, rejected. So we're going to be seeing it today with the help of the volume of the news. And we can not only break above and hold 196 as support, but we can see that new higher high get made, right? Because again, that's what's been happening with a lot of these charts, right? That's why it's been a lot of consolidation, either during New York session or a lot of Tokyo session or whatever the case may be. Because again, price has just been really struggling to make that next big move to either continue the trend or start a new one, right? Because again, at the end of the day, I don't really care if we're in an uptrend or downtrend. I just need to know what setup is the best to go for. And of course, we need volume, because without volume, that's when we get stuck in place, right? That's when we get stuck in place. So that's what's going on with a lot of these charts. I don't got GU up because I don't really want to trade GU. GU looks worse than these charts, so I don't really want to trade that. But let's go ahead and pull up GN, right? Because again, we took a GN setup yesterday. We took a loss on it. I took a small on it last night. I re-entered it. Members watched the video. I broke it down in the video last night. But same thing with GN, but the opposite direction, right? And again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. I'm gonna cut into the chat after this. Just got to break down, of course, what took place, right? So again, like I said, those just joining, the winning streak has finally ended. The 3-week winning streak has ended. We took our first loss in the sitting room in 3 weeks, which is not bad at all. But again, we can see the same thing here, right? So this chart's kind of messy. So let me go into a naked chart so y'all can see this a lot better. Okay. So I even got it drawn out perfect, unless I did this from a one-on-one session or something. So again, it's the exact same thing, but the opposite. We had a downtrend come into play. We see this is a strong resistance and support level. We see here, price failed to turn this level into resistance, shot back up, broke below, failed to hold this level as resistance, and it can do low, failed to hold it again, held that support, right? But then the uptrend also was struggling to continue. So then we broke back down below, as we can see right now. So today we're going to be seeing if we can hold this level as resistance, right? So again, when we went for the sell, we struggled to break through this level of traffic to the left right here, which we can see when we go to my marked up charts, right? We tried to go for a sell here, but it failed to break through this level of traffic and rejected. So we're obviously still bearish, but we also had a big lower low get made here. Whoops. So retracement here also makes sense. We talked about this as well. So as long as we can hold this level as resistance right here at 2390, we're still gonna look for sells and see if the volume is going to be able to help us break through this level right here, right? But again, we can see a bunch of wicks on the upside downside, showing just a lack of volume, price really struggling to break through the next levels and hold those next levels. So that's what's going on with GM. And again, we can just look at the chart, see very, very low volume. We went for the sell here. We barely missed TP1, then it rejected. And then look what happened when it hit our SL. After it hit our SL, went right back down below this level, held as resistance. Went for a move, was able to catch almost a one-on-one on it, but I got wicked out. And I just left it alone last night, right? And then I was on the charts looking, and that's why I was like, nothing really going on. So we're going to go live at 4 to see if we're going to get a little bit more action at 4 o'clock. Which we're kind of seeing a little bit more action, but at the same time, we still see some small candlesticks and wicks. Again, we do have news at 8:30. Going to be going live with the members and students during that. So members just make sure to be on the lookout for that link when I send it. So usually, like I always talk about when it comes to high impact news events, we're either going to see a nice setup beforehand play out, or if we don't see anything between now and 6 a.m., price is probably just going to be consolidating and chilling up until 8:30 news or right before the news pops off. Okay, so don't be too shocked or surprised. That price is still kind of consolidating and chilling up until that news event pops off. Kind of like what happened with some of the news events last week, right? So that's what's going on with the charts. I was trying to break that down on TikTok Live yesterday, but my Wi-Fi was not having it. So that's why I just ended it, because I'm not about to talk and I sound all staticky and shit, because y'all not gonna be able to understand me anyways. So yeah, so as far as today, the setups we're looking at for today, we're gonna break that down in a second. Let me just cut into the chat right now, make sure I'm not missing anything. Just dropped a new video for y'all last night as well. Make sure to check that out. I also got a new video lined up for y'all today. So it's gonna be a kind of a double upload, but not. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. But I'm about to send a new video in the chat. And y'all definitely want to watch this video, especially those that like to invest in stocks. I found some sleeper ETFs, y'all. I found some sleeper ETFs that are way cheaper than the other ETFs and dividend stocks I talked about in the past, but pay the same amount, which is insanity. Like how are these stocks, almost called them coins, how are these stocks so much cheaper, but they're paying the same amount, if not more, than these other stocks? Now they are fairly new, and like I talked about in the video, they're a little bit more aggressive. So like always, you don't want to just have your whole portfolio of that, right? So I have multiple different portfolios. Like I have the one where it's like non-dividend ETF. I have one that's dividend ETFs, just like with my crypto portfolio. I have one a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more mainstream altcoins. And I got a portfolio where it's like strictly just staking and building that passive income and compounding. All right, so make sure to check that out. Again, y'all make sure to like the live up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When you can be charged, drop them in the chat. Yeah, let me see what y'all talking about. So as far as today's setups, I'm mainly going to be paying attention to today, GJ, gold, NAS100, right? I'm going to keep an eye on GN, but I'm not going to trade GN again until we break through that level. Because at this point, if we don't break through that level, there's no point in trying to keep it. Like, obviously, we're still looking for sales, but we need volume to break through that shit, right? So I'm not going to really mess with that until we see price showing it's ready to at least break below or close below that level. So might see what happens today with it, but I'm probably not going to trade it until tomorrow or tonight. So I'm only paying attention mainly to NAS100, gold, and GJ. Okay, we'll be looking for buys on all three of these NAS. You can see the buys that I'm looking for right now. Just broke above this level. It did a nice retest, but I missed it when I had to restart my computer and shit. Is what it is. But if NAS100 can maintain the whole 21,890, 21,900 as support, we can look for buys going back up to here at 21,960. And then we can hold that as support. You can see buys continue up to 2230. All right. Or price rejects this level as long as we maintain 21,820 as support. We're still looking for buys. Gold, we're going to be looking for buys. Like I said, if we can break above and hold 3350 as support, we can look for buys going to 3372, 3374. And we need to hold that support in order to see that nice push we saw on Thursday last week. And then with GBPJPY, we're going to be looking for buys. If we can break above and hold 196 as support, we can look for buys going back up to these highs right here at 196.40. So we got a few setups we're looking at, y'all. Again, we're just simply waiting for volume and our confirmations to be met. NAS is showing a little bit more volume than gold right now. But again, like I said, we do got news at 8:30. So kind of missed my entry on this, unfortunately. And again, I'm not going to chase the setup because my entry is right here, and this is why I like to always have my buy and sell ideas to the right of me, because this might not look like a big difference, but if I was to enter here versus down here, I wouldn't even have a 1 or 2 right here, right? So this is why I don't like to chase the setups, because I notice chasing the setups, one, price usually 8 times, 7 times out of 10 will retrace right back to where you wanted to enter at. But two, that it literally kills and affects your risk reward, right? Like if you don't get a good entry, your risk reward is going to be greatly affected. Yeah, I know it is. I missed my fucking entry on it, man. Like I said, I missed my entry on it because I was looking to enter here, but then that's when the computer crashed. So I missed my entry on it. So it is what it is. So I'm either gonna wait for it to retest or wait for the gold setup, or I'm gonna wait for the next NAS entry. Yeah, like I said, y'all, I'm in no rush. Even though we took an L yesterday, I'm not in a rush to try to make it back because we still took a win on Monday. And then most importantly, uh, we literally, like I said, we was on like a 3 week win streak, right? We went 5-0 last week. So even in that loss yesterday, even if we didn't take a win on Monday, this wouldn't even. Oh, let me grab my charger. I'm tripping. Let me grab my charger real quick. All right, we should be good. All right, so even that loss yesterday didn't even kill our profits from last week. Then the week before that, we went 4-0. And the week prior to that, we went 4-0, right? So again, we had like a 3 week win streak. So again, when it comes to trading, you have to understand that, again, that's the part of investing, right? When you invest, it doesn't matter if you're investing money, time, energy, whatever, right? There's always going to be that return on investment you're looking for. But there's also going to be some times where you take an L, right? That's the same thing with trading. Now, with us, fortunately, we don't lose as much as most people do, but still, you still got to have like the right mindset when it comes to trading, right? Because at the end of the day, losses are a part of the game, but that's why you have to do everything on your end to make sure that you can make sure those losses don't hurt your profits, which is why I always talk about risking the same amount every single trade and always going for 1 to 2 to 1 to 3 minimum risk to ratio setups, right? But yeah, like I said, I missed his entry. So like I always tell y'all, don't chase trades. I'm not going to chase the setup. So I'm just going to let it either keep going and retrace or look for the next setup, or we're going to see if GJ and Gold, when they hit these next lows I'm looking for, we can jump into that. All right, but like I always talk about, if I miss a setup, at least I know that my projection was correct. So that way, again, when my next setup I see I like comes up, that's just going to even give me more confidence to take it. All right, but if anyone's in it, shout out to y'all. But like I said, I missed my entry, so I'm very picky with my entries because back in the day, especially before I became profitable, I used to just jump for anything and everything, and that used to cause a lot of over trading or again like just shitty risk ratio setups. So that's why now, like if I miss my setup or I miss my ideal entry, I just I just wait and just sit there and wait because again, there's always going to be another setup. Just like yesterday, that GN setup, we took an L in there, but we talked about NAS100 and gold, and those one as projected. So either one of those, you could have gotten to those and made your money back. You guys got any questions? Drop them in the chat. When we're looking at your charts, drop them in the chat. Got a new 5-minute about to pop up in a little bit. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today. Make sure to be on the lookout for that. Just dropped a new video for y'all last night as well. Make sure to check that out after the live's over. Is the video still going or did it pause? Oh, there it goes. Am I the only one that sees a sell on gold? You're probably not the only one. I'm just not going for sells on gold. Not yet. Because we're still technically bullish. I wouldn't look for sells on gold yet. Right? Especially when we've seen yesterday and last night and Monday, we're still respecting these levels as support. So unless we break 3304 and especially 3384 and hold those as resistance, not even on the smaller time frames is there bearish momentum. All right, so I wouldn't look for sells yet. Right, because we're still bullish. Like, we just look at the charts. I even still got this shit marked up. Right, like there's no lower lows. Even when price rejected this level here, it didn't make a lower low. It's pushing back up, right? So again, uptrend consists of higher highs. Downtrend consists of lower lows. Okay, and then when we pull out the price action technical analysis playbook that works on stocks, forex, options, futures, and crypto, for the uptrend to continue, we need to break past the previous high, which gives a new higher high, and we also have to respect the support low the higher low is resting on. Okay, as long as price doesn't turn the support level into a resistance and or make a lower low, we're still in an uptrend and still only looking for buys. So when we look at gold right here, right, we get rid of all this shit, right? Because again, in order to understand what's taking place and happening right now, we got to go a little bit into the past, right? So prior to all this shit happening, all these small candlesticks, we saw that we had higher high, higher low, higher high. And just like right here, what happened? Price rejected, but we did not turn this support level here into a resistance, right? We did not turn this higher low support level here into a resistance. Higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So for the uptrend to continue, we need to break this resistance level, trigger that support, and also respect this support level. So just like right here, price rejected, but it maintained and held this level as support, right? And that's why when the volume kicked in, we blew through this level instead of blowing through to the downside. Right, so a lot of people would have got fucked up here a couple of weeks ago with that same mindset. So again, it's all about patience and going for high probability, high quality setups, right? You don't want to chase price, you want to follow the flow of price. And then we see here, price was attempting to hold this level as support to make a new higher high. Like I was talking about at the beginning of the live stream, we can see here, price failed to hold that level of support, price failed to hold that level of support, price failed to break and hold that support. And then obviously when we see right here, price failed again. And then look what we also see, the same exact level, price is still holding as support. So like I was saying, unless we break those levels of treatment as resistance, we're not bearish yet. Right, then even right here, this resistance level got turned back into support yesterday and last night, right? So unless we break below those levels and treat them as a resistance, I'm personally not looking for sales on those. Again, y'all, we got news at 8:30, so we don't see any action between now and like 6 a.m. Don't be too shocked or surprised if prices kind of consolidating, chilling up until the news pops off. Right, we just see a lot of wickedness, price chilling in the same spot for the past hour, some change. Same thing with gold. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok too. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram playmaker_way, TikTok _playmakerway _ post daily on both pages. Also, make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free Signal free Telegram. Y'all see on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. If you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. Want to look at any charts, drop them in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. Yeah, NAS is still going. So shout out anyone that got into that, but like I said, I missed my entry on it. So I'm just gonna let it run and do its thing. Again, the setups I'm looking at for today is possible GJ buys, possible gold buys, and possible NAS100 buys. If GJ can break back above here and hold 196 as support, we can look for buys going back up to the highs here at 196.40. NAS, we were looking for the setup here before my computer crashed. It is what it is though. But it was something like we could hold 21,900 as support. We could look for buys come back up to these highs here at 21,960, and then we can break a hold that as support. We can look for continued buys going to 22.30, and then with gold, if we can break above and hold 33.50 as support, we can look for buys going to 33.72. So that's the game plan for today, y'all. Got a new 15, a new hour about to pop up in a second. So let's see how that plays out. We'll be on for a little bit longer, y'all. Again, if you guys got any questions, drop them in the chat. When looking at these charts, drop them in the chat. I made a new TikTok and Instagram too, y'all. Some of y'all found me from my new TikTok. Shout out to y'all. But be on the lookout. I might tell y'all what it is and have y'all follow it. Not this week, probably next week. I kind of want to experiment on it first to see how it does before I get y'all follow me on there. But I made a new one because my Instagram account ain't gonna lie, like they do not be pushing my shit out on that page. So I made a new one. So I'm gonna experiment with that to see if I see any difference on there before I have everybody convert over to it. My new TikTok, oh, there goes my alarm. Now I might make this new page. I might run this new page like how I'm running my second TikTok. So I might have y'all follow both because my second TikTok, the one I made a couple weeks ago, I have on that page like straight up just chart talk, right? Like on my main TikTok is me like, giving tips, doing trade recaps and all that other stuff. But on the other one, I'm strictly on the charts. I'm just talking, giving game and breaking shit down. So this new Instagram, I'm probably gonna run it just like that one. So I'll probably just have y'all follow both, right? Because both pages is still me, but it's like two different things, but it's still trading wise. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so just be on the lookout for that, y'all. I'm probably gonna post about that next week. Especially because I just made the new Instagram. I kind of want to see how it plays out. But yeah, we can see the charts are kind of just chilling right now. Like I said, we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m. It's probably going to just be chilling up until the 8:30 news. We're going to be going live with the members and students during the 8:30 news. So members, make sure you look out for that link. I'm going to send a message in a little bit too, probably in the next hour, let y'all know we're going to be going live also. Again, I got a new video dropping for y'all today. Dropped a new video from the last night. Make sure to watch that. Make sure to check out the playlist. All playlists are up to date. Shout out to everybody in the live. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since the beginning. Shout out to everybody that's been alive since y'all joined. Make sure to hit that first link in the description and join the free signal from Telegram, y'all. Man, we was on a crazy run. I think that might have been our best run so far in Cinnamon Room, or at least second or third best run. Right? Because we've had win streaks before, but we almost went a month straight without losing a trade, which is kind of impressive. I think we came close, but I have to go back. That's gonna take me some time, so I probably ain't gonna do that anytime soon. I might do that on the weekend from board or some shit. But it was literally up until yesterday on a 3-week win streak. But we're still up this week, up this month. If y'all don't understand how, make sure to check out the day trading tips playlist because I got a lot of games on how to take advantage of the trades you take, how to minimize your losses and maximize on your wins. And of course, you already know I break that down with members of students as well behind the scenes. But yeah, so we're just gonna let the charts do what they're gonna do. We're gonna see what happens going into the next session, y'all. We'll be back live tomorrow, London session 3 a.m. EST. Yes, yeah, gold is dropping, but again, what time frame are you looking at? So we're not off yet. So shout out to those that didn't leave yet. But yeah, it's dropping. But what time frame are you on? What time frame are you looking at? All right, so let's talk about it. Shout out to those that didn't hop out yet, because everybody that just hopped off, some more dinner. Let's talk about it really quick. What time frame are you on? If you're still in here, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait like 30 seconds. Oh, you're on 5 minute. Okay, cool. So yeah, on the 5 minute, especially if you're on your phone or something, it's probably going to look like a big drop. But again, this is what I mean by you don't want to chase price, you want to follow the flow of price. So like I be talking about a lot. And if you aren't following me on TikTok, make sure to follow me on TikTok. I probably won't go live today because I ain't gonna lie, my Wi-Fi is fucking garbage right now. So I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow or Friday, hopefully. But if not, I'm just gonna just wait till the Our Wi-Fi is back to normal. But you definitely want to be tuned into the TikTok lives, y'all, because some of y'all might think the TikTok lives are just like these lives, but they're not, right? Those that be in the TikTok lives, you know what I'm talking about. Like we be going super deep in the TikTok live, right? We be going deeper. We go here during the London session lives. I just be giving my setups, looking for entries, all that good shit. But during the TikTok live, we be breaking stuff down. All right, so if you ain't following me on TikTok, you're missing out. But what you got to understand is, one, you can't catch every candlestick, right? So I remember when I was new to trading, and like a lot of traders, we see candlesticks as money. Well, I want you and everybody watching right now in the replay is to not think that's candlesticks as money. Okay, I used to do the same thing. I used to, every time I see a candlestick, I'm like, damn, that's money right there. I just missed out on X amount of pips, X amount of points. Ooh, it did a big move. I could have, if I was in that, I could have made that. But what it really comes down to is, like I talk about all the time, it's all about high probability, high quality setup. And again, this took me a little while to get this way, but I'm super strict with my entries and exits. That's why on that 100 set of the old me, I would have followed and jumped in that bitch. But like now, I don't care anymore because now I'm super strict with my rules. So what you have to understand is, it's just like, as a matter of fact, let's just do this. Right? So last week we went for this GJ buy, right? And then prior to us entering this buy, if y'all all, what I want y'all to do, if y'all didn't, y'all see the date at the bottom of the screen. Watch last Friday's live stream, right? Watch last Friday's live stream. We broke down this GJ setup right here. Okay. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's easier to explain what the setup we took before versus me, doing some hypotheticals and shit like that, right? So, of course, here's the signal. This is an old trade. Nobody take this. It's not June 6th anymore, right? But again, you see we entered this 2 hours after we went live. We broke this down during the London session live. All TPs got hit, all that good stuff. So it's that date, all that good stuff, right? So if you watch that London session live, I said we was looking for buys, and of course we took buys later. Now these levels are off because I change my levels every week, but that's a whole other conversation. But you can still see that this is a support level. So as you see here, price rejected this level and came down, right? And then price also rejected this level again and came down. But we didn't go for sales here or go for sales here. We went for buys. And then we see price exploded to the upside. Now, again, the reason this happened is because we was following the flow of price on the bigger time frame, right? So like we talked about earlier, when Blinn, right, shout out to you, we was talking to her or him about it earlier. Okay, so like on the bigger time frame, that's where we make the decision. Because again, the smaller time frames and the time frames we enter our tradings on only explain and tell us what price is doing at that exact moment. The bigger time frames explain and tell us what price has been doing and the direction it's been going, which is going to give us the information we need to figure out and determine what direction price is going to most likely continue to go or start going, right? So just like with this GJ setup, price on a smaller time frame, the time frame we're looking for our entry on, retraced to the downside. We can even argue and say we see lower lows getting made, right? But we didn't go for sells here. We went for buys because on the bigger time frame, we had bullish momentum, right? So when it comes to trading, and this will help you with your entries as well, you want to enter off retracements, right? You want to enter off retracements so you can catch the next move, right? It's not a coincidence that we entered off this retracement and then we got the next move to the upside, right? Just like right here, we entered off a retracement and caught the next move to the upside, right? We see here how price rejected this level, but then blew through it, right? Just like how price rejected this level, but then it's now holding this level as support. right? So retracements are part of the game. Where's my damn chart? I must have been on the small ass time frame when I did this shit. Give me 1 second. Let me redraw this. Well, hopefully, it's making sense so far, right? And then we'll also see here that again we have bullish momentum still, right? So just like I was talking to Glenn about, unless we break below those two support levels and turn it back to resistance, like we had happen here, right? Because again, we were looking for buys here. We went for sells here because those levels were no longer being held as support. They got turned to resistance, right? Just like we were looking for sells here, if price would have turned this up into resistance, right? So when we go down to here, again, you can see when price was no longer holding this level as support, was treating it as resistance, we were looking for sells down here, right? Because that's the level that needs to be turned to resistance for the downtrend to come into play, right? And even right now, we can see how price just wicked and shot back up. You see what I'm saying? So you want to follow the flow of price, especially on the bigger time frames. That's why if you watch my trade breakdowns, all right? So make sure y'all, after this live stream's over, go to the playlist on this channel and go to trade breakdowns for 100 videos of back-to-back-to-back trade breakdowns. But each trend has retracements, right? That's why it's higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, right? It's not just highs, 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 right? That's also why, again, when everybody and their mama was freaking out when Bitcoin and the stocks were retracing and calling it a crash, remember what I told y'all? I told y'all it was not a crash, it was simply a retracement and to buy. And then not only did I tell y'all to buy, again, check out the altcoin analysis playlist, the Bitcoin playlist, the stock playlist. I also told y'all the best prices to buy at. And if y'all would have listened, or if y'all did listen, y'all would be up right now, right? So again, how did I know that that wasn't a crash, that was just a retracement? It's the same thing, right? Because the uptrend has retracements, the downtrend has retracements, right? But there's also the third cycle, which is consolidation. And I go over all this in the price action technical analysis playbook. So again, you don't want to try to identify the trend and determine what you're looking for as far as buys or sells on the same time frame you're about to enter the setup on, right? Because you're going to see completely different things on those two different time frames, right? Again, the smaller time frames only explain what prices have been doing at that current moment. The bigger time frames tell the direction prices have been going and it's most likely going to go, right? That's why when we go on these stock or crypto apps, they don't pull up the 1 minute chart, right? They tell you what price has been doing on an hour, daily, weekly, monthly basis, right? Because that's how price moves. Price moves on a day by day, week by week, month by month basis. You know what I'm saying? That even right now, like we can see here on a bigger time frame. Friday we had that rejection, but look what Monday, yesterday, and today is doing, right? We see price still is respecting this low as support, and we see prices pushing and making its way back up. That's why I said I'm not going to look for sells unless we break below these levels and hold it as resistance. Because again, it's about going for high probability, high quality setups, right? Every trade I take is a high probability, high quality setup. I'm only going for setups that are the cleanest, right? So that's why I don't like really to take trades when price is consolidating. That's why I only like to really take trades when we're in a clear uptrend or clear downtrend, right? That's why all the trade breakdowns you see, we're always in semi or approaching clean uptrends, clean downtrends, because that's the best setups you're going to get. So that's why I said I am not going to look for sells until we're in an area that will be indicating a downtrend, right? Right now, we're kind of in between, just like how we was a couple weeks ago, right? And remember, we were talking about we was going to look for gold buys. And remember what happened down here as exploded to the upside, right? So that's why I'm looking for buys right now. But again, that's why also yesterday I was like, we can see buys here, but I'd much rather wait to see if price can hold this level as support, because again, I know if we can hold this level as support, like we did last week, we'll have a higher likelihood of the uptrend continuing. and things like that. But like I said, we do got news today, tomorrow, and Friday. So that news is either going to give us volume to continue the uptrend, or it's going to bring in volume to reverse us and have the downtrend come into play, right? So, but until that happens, I'm going to look for buys because we're still in the uptrend. Just like we're in a downtrend, I'm only looking for sells because if I'm in an uptrend, price is mostly going up. So even if I randomly enter a buy, which I don't recommend, I still have a higher likelihood of making some money versus going for a sell in an uptrend. Just like with a downtrend, if I enter a sell, I automatically have a higher likelihood of the trade going my way. And that's why our win rate is so high, because I strictly only go for buys in the uptrend, strictly go for sells in the downtrend. And then, I also do the other shit that I talk about in the trade breakdowns, right? So that's why our win rate is so high. It's not because, I make shit up or whatever. It's because, again, I'm so picky with my setups, and I only go for setups that meet all my confirmations. So, like, even right here, right? I didn't even flinch or think about sells when this happened. I got strictly buys because, again, we're in the uptrend. So until we see that downtrend come into play, I'm only looking for buys. Right? And that's the same way you should go because, again, when you start going into that, what happened this time, so that means it can happen sometimes, you end up always looking for that small likelihood of that thing happening instead of focusing on, okay, what's most likely going to happen, right? It's just like when you're talking to people, you see these dumbass debates on the internet, and people they make a blanket statement that in general could be true or in general is not true, but then people will be like, oh, but I know this one person, or sometimes this happens, or it's like, okay, but what's the likelihood of that happening, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with trading, right? So a lot of times, that's the reason why a lot of people go for reversal and shit like that, because it's like, oh, it can go this way, but it's like, okay, but who's price most likely going to be doing? You know what I mean? So that's all it's about. Because again, at the end of the day, price only going to be one or two things, go up or go down. So it's your job as a trader to determine at that moment what do you think price is most likely going to do. But yeah, that's why I'm looking for buys on gold right now. But again, I have my setup here. I'm not taking any setups in this territory, right? It's kind of just like how sometimes in the Sunday chart analysis, you'll hear me say, and I kind of did that one a few weeks ago. Like if you go into the what you call it, the free signal room first link in description. I can't remember the date. I'm terrible with time. Time just be flying. But if you go back a couple weeks ago, if it wasn't this Sunday chart analysis, it was probably this Sunday chart analysis where I said that. I was like, and I think I said it last week with GU, right? Because we caught a nice GU buys last week as well. GU fed us the past couple weeks. It was the same thing, right? We was in that area where we was in reversal territory. And we was talking about some, remember? And we see what's happening again, right? So remember a couple weeks ago when we was right here, I was like, we're still technically bullish. But we saw here prior to that Monday, right? Because this is how that week ended on Friday. So you watch this live stream right here. Wait, is that the one? No. If you watch June 1st Sunday chart analysis, I said this about GU, right? So here we see lower lows getting made, but when we stick to the price action technical analysis playbook, we're still technically bullish, which is why I said we're still bullish, and I'm only looking for sells if we break below this level holder. If we break below this level holder as resistance, which we see price did not do. We see price hit that level, then rejected, and that's why the next day price exploded to the upside, and it's because again we was in an uptrend. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people would have been confused, like, why did price do this? But the reason why, again, you watch the video, I talked about it. I said we was looking for buys still bullish because, again, the rules for the downtrend did not come into play yet, right? And that's how I was able to catch all those buys on GU the past couple of weeks, right? So it's the same thing with gold. So depending on what the news does today and this week, we're either going to see the uptrend continue or we're going to see the downtrend come into play. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how it was for me in the beginning too. That's how it was for me in the beginning too. That's why I say this. That's why I purposely don't have my broker, and I don't do my analysis on my broker, or I don't have my trading view connected to my broker, because that's what used to fuck me up back in the day. Because I used to always think money, 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 money. Right? That's why people be like, why don't you connect your trading view? Because I don't want to, because that's going to fuck me up mentally. Now, probably if I wanted to now, I could, but I'm still not going to because it ain't broken, don't fix it. But that's why I strictly do my analysis on trading view, because that's all that matters is what the charts are doing. But when I fuse the two together or enter trade and immediately look at my broker, that's when every candlestick becomes money, right? And that's again why people try to chase price, because they just want some money. And then also because you see all these videos of these motherfuckers lying to you, talking about, oh, like I literally see this dude, y'all probably see this motherfucker be like, I only trade 20 minutes a day. And I'm gonna show you how you can literally only trade 20 minutes a day. I'm like, why are you lying to the people? Because I guarantee you that you're not trading on the charts 20 minutes every single fucking day, right? And then all these other videos where they be like, oh, I made 5K in 30 minutes. Again, from the point you enter and exit a trade, it can take that time, but they're not telling you the time it took for that setup to arise, their confirmations to be met, and most importantly, for them to enter and exit that trade, right? Like, for example, we go into the advanced play signal room, we can find plenty of trades, right, that played out in 30 minutes or an hour or some shit. But from the time we was on the charts and looking for the setup, that's a whole different conversation. You get what I mean? Right? Like there was this trade. We entered this at 408. We hit TB4 at 422. Right? So I could have been like, oh, we just made a quick bag in 20 minutes. Because we went live, London session 3 a.m. EST. So we waited a whole hour before we even entered this trade. Right? So it's the same thing with all these other videos. From the point you enter, trade, and exit, it very much so can be 20 minutes. But the process beforehand is what people don't want to talk about. That's why people be in such a rush, right? Like this one. This one, I could have said that because we went live at 3 a.m. and we entered this trade at 3:05. So I could have been, look, I took this trade in 5 minutes, right? But again, that's going to imply that all trades take 5 minutes, right? But that's not the case, right? So that's just something to keep in mind, right? Like I can be like, look, I just caught this trade in 20 minutes or an hour, but no, I was on the charts London session, didn't see shit I like London session, so I wait New York session, right? So I was on the charts 6+ fucking hours, right? Before I took that trade. All right, so that's just something important to keep in mind. What's going on? I see you up in here. So it's best to trade gold after news. At this point, I'll recommend it. Like I said, so I have a playlist. I haven't updated it in a while because I've mainly just been talking about it behind the scenes with the members and students. Like I said, we go live at least twice a week during high impact news events, so I can really show what I'm talking about. But I do have a playlist on my channel titled "How to Trade News," so I do recommend you check that out. But I recommend to always wait at least 2 hours, an hour to 2 hours after the news goes up. Right? So I typically wait an hour. So I'll take a trade anywhere prior to 2 hours before a news event. That's why I say if you don't see anything by 6 a.m., just wait until after the news, right? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'll take. That's why again, GJ. Right, everybody will be like, that's why I be laughing. Every time it's a news event, I be laughing when I go on my phone to TikTok and I see all these people talking about, oh, there's news today, so I'm not trading at all today. Fuck London, fuck Tokyo session, right? Because we had news on Friday and we took this trade hours before news. And then when we go to Friday's news, Right when we go to Friday's news, we had 8:30 news. Look what happened during the 8:30 news. Price broke this level that it struggled to break the day before, and then broke and hit all of our TPs. Right, so that's why I'm telling y'all, like, it doesn't matter if it's a bank holiday, news event, high volume, low volume, price is always going to stick to the playbook and follow these rules, right? And this is proof right here, right? So again, I took this trade hours before news, right? And then so I had the decision to either close before news or hold during the news, right? I held during the news. I was confident in the setup, right? So if it's at least 2 hours prior to news, take a setup. But if you're gonna take a setup and it's 2 hours before the news gonna pop up, I'll just wait until after the news. Wait at least an hour after the news, and then take a setup if you see one, of course. Of course, we don't see. Right, so that's how I go about news. That's why I always take setups, right? But again, just like taking trades in general, there's always a possibility that could go against you. So that's why I always tell people, like, look, we got news popping off in about 30 minutes. Y'all can make the choice whether you want to hold or not. And again, y'all can see this. You go to GJ setup on Friday. Which was this one. Right. So it took the trade 5 a.m. 3.5 hours before the news. We news at 8:30. So we hit TP4. I let them know we hit the next zone. I let them know what was going live for the news. Sent the link out, and then you see literally as soon as the news popped off, price exploded and hit all the TPs. Right, and then again you can see here this was the 8:30 candlestick. This level that price rejected the day prior, got under support, then exploded to the upside. Right, so that's when people are like, oh, you can't predict this, or the charts are just randomly doing shit. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, no, because so many people will see on the internet, and people are like allergic to new information. No matter how much sense it makes, they're like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true. There's no way you know how to read the charts because everybody else says they can't read the charts. There's no way you figure that out. Well, I figured it out. Nobody wants to learn how to read the charts, right? But there's no way you had a 95% win rate last month. That's impossible because statistically speaking, like I literally have a dude on my YouTube. Go to my YouTube video. I got this goofy ass dude. This is how fucked people are in the head. Like if you go to my YouTube, I'm about to put it in the chat. This motherfucker right here. And he ain't even deleted his comment. I would have deleted my comment if I was that dude. Let me find it. Let me find it. It's probably my comment. Let me see. Let me find it. It's hilarious. I said I was about to hop off. But like I said, you know, when y'all ask questions, I don't mind them all longer unless I got something to do. Fuck. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I found it. Right, it was this video right here. Like the dude could not believe because he's a statistic warrior, right? He lives his life based off Google. This motherfucker, you go to this video, make sure to watch the video if you didn't already. And this dude, and like on all my videos, I always go to the Telegram. I say, look, here's the date. We went live. See the time we entered the trade. We even said this literally on YouTube live, like right now. There's literally no way I can make this shit up. But instead of going to where I save the proofs at to see if the proof's actually there, they're just so programmed. They're like, I just can't believe this because I can't do this or because everybody on the internet says it's impossible. Like he's talking about like there's no data, You ain't showing nothing but an echo chamber. I said, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? And then I remember in another video where I was talking about my win rate. They're like, that's not possible. That's not statistically possible. I remember I took a screenshot of this NAS trade we took. They're like, there's no way you caught that because the average person only catches this amount of points per day. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? What the hell is wrong with y'all? But again, that's why I started this channel because again, like when I learned this shit, I realized like, a lot of bullshit. People just be saying they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But yeah, I'm about to hop off now. Hopefully that makes sense, y'all. If you guys got any questions, want to contact me, y'all can DM me on Instagram, Telegram, or TikTok. I respond to all messages. Again, got a new video dropping free out at the beginning of the New York session. Make sure to be ready and have your notes on for that. I also got the video last night. Make sure to check that out after I end this live. And yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow. Learning session 3 on BST.